O Show. This is the Big 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 O Show.
There's just one place to get our lowest payment on the new 2025 Acura RDX, $399 a month. It's the Season of Performance event at Acura of Pembroke Pines, #1 in the USA.
When presenting an award to an employee, athlete, executive, or fantasy GM, make sure you call Orvieto's Awards and More. For 35 years, these custom award specialists have been providing plaques, trophies, custom framing, while providing state-of-the-art laser and computerized engraving, UV printing, and glass crystal etching. They do all their engraving and printing in-house for quality control. Call Charles at 305-949-8098 or visit them at orvietosawards.com. Orvieto's Awards and More, where recognition is rewarding.
For over 16 years, EJDconstruction.com has provided South Florida residents quality craftsmanship, accurate project management, and exceptional service. That's why EJDconstruction.com is an A-rated member of Angie's List and the Better Business Bureau. When you're looking for the right custom home builder for additions or home remodeling, please call my friend Eric at 305-433-4843. That's 305-433-4843 for EJDconstruction.com.
There's just one place to get our lowest payment on the new 2025 Acura Integra, $289 a month. It's the Season of Performance event at Acura of Pembroke Pines, #1 in the USA.
It starts every morning before the sun comes up. Projects are laid out. Plans are made. Equipment is fueled and loaded with inventory to handle all service requests. Orders are given to an army of skilled landscape maintenance professionals, certified arbor trimmers, irrigation technicians, and licensed pest management experts who fan out to communities and businesses all over South Florida. Experienced, on time, and dependable. Our staff is fully trained, licensed, and insured. Contact us by phone, email, social media, or through our website to answer all your landscape questions. We are Cutter's Edge. Total Landscape Solutions.
Oh, great. You have a doorbell camera. Now you have a front row seat to your house getting robbed.
They're breaking into my house!
Ooh, there goes the TV. I'm sure it'll turn up at the pawn shop.
No, not the TV!
Just because you can see them, that doesn't mean you can stop them. With Slogans, you get 24-hour monitoring, a free home security system, and professional installation. Plus, free doorbell camera, one that'll actually work for you.
Get out of my house! Get out of the house!
Call 1-800-ALARM-ME.
Welcome to Caneswear. New store, new items, same great experience. Family owned and operated since 2010, Caneswear has the latest merchandise from the Miami Hurricanes, Miami Dolphins, Florida Panthers, Inter Miami CF, and more. Come visit us at our store in Davie on University Drive, just south of 595, or online at caneswear.com. Caneswear, the spot Miami fans shop.
The lost city of Atlantis reveals its secrets at Toyota of Hollywood. Get legendary deals on over 2,000 Toyotas, like a 2024 Corolla. Not 24,000, 20,988. Unlock the wonders of 0% financing for 5 full years, 0 down. Rediscover Atlantis at Toyota of Hollywood on 441 between Hollywood Boulevard and Sheridan Street. Open till midnight.
After 40 years, the Big Cheese Miami is still producing great Italian food. They started in 1984. Since then, they've been winning awards while being voted the best inexpensive Italian restaurant in Miami. Visit them for great food, amazing service. Witness the decades of Cane's memories. The walls are like a Miami Hurricanes Hall of Fame. The Big Cheese delivers anything on its menu or party platter menu to your home, office, or even a park for a picnic. Located at 8080 Southwest 67th Avenue, Miami. Call 305-662-6855. TheBigCheeseMiami.com, where they serve large portions at family prices.
Hi, this is Jeff Welt from Welt and Rayom. Dan and I have been in business together for over 22 years. We're not your typical lawyers. When Dan's not working in the office, he's flying his stunt plane. When I'm not in the office, I'm either getting tattooed, bowling, riding a motorcycle, or going to concerts. We might not be your typical attorneys, but we are aggressive attorneys, and we'll do whatever it takes to get you what you deserve. Consultations are always free. Call us anytime, 24/7.
Welt and Rayom can help.
If you're looking to take your home or business to the next level, then RM.
Hi, this is Jeff Welt from Welt and Rayom.
If you're looking to take your home or business to the next level, then RM Contractors and Custom Drywall can assist you. RM specializes in new residential turnkey, new commercial turnkey, home and office remodeling. Call them for free estimates. Serving all of South Florida, licensed and insured. Call Ray or Mike, 305-345-3649. You work hard to create the perfect atmosphere. You dream it, we'll build it. RM.
There's just one place to get our lowest payment on the new 2024 Acura ZDX, $299 a month. It's the Season of Performance event at Acura of Pembroke Pines, #1 in the USA.
The viewpoint statements or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyAccess.com, Media Group Inc. Ownership, management, sponsors, or website. When it comes to South Florida sports teams, very few in the media have witnessed, lived, and covered it like the Big O. Let's start the program dedicated to your favorite South Florida teams with a passion that's unmatched. The Big O Radio Show is on. Here's the Big O.
Of Pembroke Pines. No, welcome aboard. It's a beautiful Friday. It's always a beautiful Friday when you're here at Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. Howdy, howdy. Yes, sir. Time to rock and roll. I hope you all are doing well. What?
Gus, you said we have sound. Humble Legend said muted. Was that sent before Humble Legend? Real quick, before we get going.
Thumbs up.
Can we get, is the sound on? Because I'm getting mixed messages.
Give me the thumbs up that the sound is good. The sound is good. We have sound.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Yeah, I get into a rant and it's like, hey, asshole, we can't hear you. You're running your mouth. You're talking crap like always every day for 34 years, and we can't hear it.
Because through the board we have sound, so we can hear each other.
Yes, we can. No doubt about it. All right. Anyway, so we are here in front of a whole bunch of beautiful ZDXs, which you can come on out here. 0.9% financing for 72 months on the ZDX. That is redunculous.
It makes such a sweet sound too.
What's that? Oh, yeah.
It's when it's really not a sound. It's
No,
just like
yeah, nice and quiet. It's really, really cool. And fast, dude. Fast. It is fast. No doubt about that. So, do we have anything to talk about? Anything happen locally in sports? Nah, right? I mean, no big deal. I mean, By the way, why is it that the picture, you have it centered and the live picture is completely to the right? Do you have another camera? Do we need to buy another camera or something? What's going on with that camera? Because that's some weird shit. Like, it's centered, completely centered, because it takes the picture without the billboard. And then you put the billboard and it completely moves it out of the way. Yeah. Right. You're live on here. On that one, exactly. Because it's left, right. It's showing you the right side of one side, the left side of the other. That's what is going on. Good sir. So the camera is playing Twix on you. It's Twix. Okay. All right. Right. Well, it'll be a delayed thing here when you move it. They can see your shadow moving behind the camera. That's funny. It's funny as hell. Well, you're kind of, not yet. You're inching, but not yet. Kind of, not yet. You still got to move more. There. Keep going. Keep going. This is good live shit right here, bro. It's a little better. There we go. Now we're talking. And then on yours, I'm nearly behind your billboard. All right, so the way you guys are seeing it, now we're centered. It's the weirdest thing. So Graziano's reporting McDaniel was close to getting canned if seasons badly. If season ends badly, Shang, I could see something like that. I mean, I would have fired him already, dude. After the Colts game, I wanted him fired. You know what I mean? He's underachieved. Every year he underachieves. And this year he underachieved more than every other year. So I'm not a McDaniel fan. There's nothing about him right now that I want him to be a long-term coach. Look, let's start off with the elephant in the room. Odell Beckham just got released by the Miami Dolphins. And you could go back and check the videos. I'm not an Odell fan. Never have been. Okay? Don't like the way he carries himself and all that. I don't think he's a professional. Hasn't been a professional a long time. Now, the last couple of years, he's actually behaved. So when they signed him, they didn't pay him much. And I thought that they would use him in a way that, okay, could be complimentary. But you got to go back and listen to the videos. Go watch them. Go listen. I talked about, okay, if you're going to use him, he's going to be filling in for Tyreek or Waddle on the outside. What does this head coach do? Plays him from the slot. What did I say from the offset in the offseason? He's not a slot guy. Don't play him in the slot. Not a physical receiver. You need him out in space. He's a space guy, speed guy. He's a finesse guy. You put him in the slot, you got to get tough in the slot. You're fighting off blocks. You're fighting in traffic. You're going to get hit. It's slot. You have to have a whole different mindset. Okay? That's not who he is, and yet he still tried to play him there. So, am I an Odell fan? No. Did I agree necessarily with the signing? No. Did I understand what the front office thought that they were doing? Yeah, I kind of understand it. McDaniel, once again, the problem. The bigger problem in all of the Odell thing was more about McDaniel not using him the right way. And then what ended up happening as the year went on, Jonnu became the third guy, which, by the way, that's in the offseason. What did I say? Jonnu should be the third receiver. Okay, so things have worked out the way I said they should work out. And then Malik Washington is a kid that actually has played well. I don't know what's going on with Craycraft behind the scenes. He must not be showing some kind of an edge or something. And maybe now he has to play some. So we'll see if Craycraft, wakes his ass up. But Malik is the kid you got to play. For me, that's the guy you got to play because you've got Jonnu Smith as your third guy. Plus, you've got Achane with 70 balls caught. You've got Mostert now as your third down back. So Odell Beckham wasn't going to get any more receptions from here on out because the offense has evolved and has evolved into another direction. But that's McDaniel's fault because he could have worked Beckham in from the outside, filling in. I mean, Tyreek and Waddle always want to take. See, when Tyreek and Waddle ask out on third down and McDaniel's on the field, not knowing that those guys are asking out, and Dubose and what's the name of the goofball? No, the goofball, the Dogecoin goofball. No, not Dogecoin. That's Preston. Chosen. So Dubose and Chosen go out on a very important third down, and they screw it up. That's where Odell should have been. I mean, first of all, the fact that Tyreek and Waddle asked off the field and were granted off the field on a third down, it's disgusting as it is. That shows you that Mike McDaniel just doesn't really have his shit straight. This is his third year. That's not the kind of shit that ever should happen in a game. But it happened to Mike McDaniel. And instead you have Dubose and these are the things that just kind of drive you crazy about McDaniel, right? And so it's just a guy that's not a well-prepared coach. So unfortunately, the injuries with Odell, whether he wasn't available, whether he wasn't used right, whatever it is, you just never really. Again, it's part of why I'm not a McDaniel fan. Okay, and I'm not an Odell fan. I'm not here to defend Odell. I'm not even here to defend the move itself. Okay, because I said it when they signed him. I get it. I understand what they're doing. I can't disagree. It's shit money. It's only a couple $1,000,000. They're not paying a lot of money, so I understand. But the problem is the front office has to deal with a coach that just doesn't know how to run a football team. And he doesn't complement what they do in the front office. And that's a major problem. So the Odell Beckham signing becomes a disaster. It doesn't work out. Okay? You can talk about Calais Campbell and you can talk about Brooks and there's a whole bunch of signings that actually have worked out. And then there's some that aren't going to work out. And that one is not going to work out. And you guys can blame Chris Greer and company if you want, and that's fine. And I guess he's going to deserve some of that blame for sure. But Mike McDaniel, once again, screwed it up. He could have gotten more even out of Odell Beckham. But again, he doesn't know how to use players. He could have gotten more out of Gesicki, but doesn't know how to use play. He could have gotten more out of Jonnu Smith by using him the first month of the season. And he didn't. The way he was played in training camp, well, there's no sun. The way he was played in training camp and in the preseason, you thought Jonnu Smith was easily the third receiver like he is now. Well, hell, now he's the first receiver. But that's what you thought. And then he disappears the first month of the season. You're like, yo, what the hell's going on here? And that's Mike McDaniel. So the Odell signing was a disaster all the way around. But there is nobody I blame more than McDaniel. You want to blame the front office? Fine. You want to blame OBJ? Fine. But I'm blaming Mike McDaniel more than anything else. Why? The experiment at least wasn't more productive. Because it wasn't like he was going to be the answer to anything. If any of you thought that, no, he was supposed to be a complementary figure to Tyreek and Waddle. And the head coach did a piss poor job of trying to create that. When you're trying to acclimate Robbie Chosen more than OBJ, we got a problem. When you're trying to get Julian Hill involved more than OBJ, we've got a problem. And again, I'm not an OBJ fan, but there is a job you can do with him. It's just you have a bad coach, unfortunately. Great play designer, but not really a good coach, unfortunately. And so this move falls by the wayside. All parties involved fail. None bigger than Mike McDaniel, because that's just the way it goes. Anyway, what are you laughing at? What happened? Jim Hall? Everything is Mike McDaniel's fault, according to Big O. He's been here for 3 years. Greer's been here for 20, and Greer hasn't made decisions for 20, Jim. So Mike McDaniel has made all the decisions on the field for 3 years. That's where, see, I have the facts and you don't. Jim Hall, that's why you're a dumbass and you say stupid shit like that. And again, Jim Hall, if he was in charge, then that would have been, you would be right, but he wasn't in charge. He's been fully in charge now for a 6th season. That's it, fully in charge. When Tannenbaum was here, he wasn't fully in charge. They were all overriding him. Once you got rid of those guys, which has now been 6 years, you've been fully in charge. Outside of that, before that, he was filing reports and they were still making decisions above his head. But that's all right. I mean, it sounds good for you because, you know, like it helps you for your weak argument. But that's all right, Jim. It's, listen, man, the world is full of stupid people, Jim Hall. And stupid people say stupid things that are inaccurate, right? Because it's an uneducated comment because he hasn't been in charge for 20 years. He hasn't been the man in charge where he has the final say. That's been now, this is the 6th season of him fully in charge with the final say. Other times, for a couple of years where he was the general manager, he really didn't have the final say because I know other people made final decisions. And then before that, he was a scout. He was just making reports and everybody else above him was making. But it sounds great. And it's a perfect example of the world because this happens with Americans, with the English, with the Brazilians, and all of that. It doesn't matter who it is. People in general are lazy, and so they'll say something stupid, and because other people like Jim Hall are stupid and lazy, and they don't actually really look up things, and really, they'll repeat the same stupid thing. And so then it's kind of like a group of zombies. And that's what you all are, Jim Hall. You're a group of zombies that just repeat the same stupid, inaccurate, uninformed, uneducated opinion. But you continue. You go for it, baby. Knock yourself out. Let's see. What else do we have here? Jim Hall is probably the same person that says Dan Campbell would have been the elite coach. Yes, if he stayed in Miami. Exactly. That's the Jim Halls of the world. Those are the dumbasses. But we've got plenty of. Jim Hall is the idiot that says, "Oh, Bitcoin is a scam," because somebody else said it was a scam. They didn't study. They didn't really get to know about it. They just, heard some MSNBC host say it. That's all. Anyway. Humble Legend says, I'm so tired of the McDaniel save Tua narrative. I refuse to believe Tua is too mentally weak to play for any other. Oh, that's so stupid. He played for Saban, bro. And you are 1,000%. The only thing that McDaniel did was believe in him. But outside of that, the play from Tua comes from Tua, because Tua will just continue to grow and be a hell of a player. It's just experience as you get to know. And for him, it's been a harder road than everybody else, because normally you don't get drafted to a coach that hates you and didn't want you in the first place and wants to do everything to bury your career by starting you against the Rams, knowing that you're going to get killed. You know what I'm saying? Nobody really goes through that kind of shit, but Tua's gone through that shit. Like right now, he's playing. Nobody talks about this, right? Okay, so the game against Arizona and Buffalo, okay? They ran for 150 yards twice there and lost those two games, really close games against two good teams, right? Was it 28-27, 30-27, I believe, right? I want to say it was 28-27, and I want to say you lost to Buffalo 30-27. Correct? Okay, you'll look it up. You'll tell me how wrong I am, because I usually am. And so one of the things that I also remember in that game, okay, nobody talks about this kind of shit, right? This is all Tua related in a way, okay? I was right? 28-27, 30-27. Okay. So you can also check there. I believe both of those games, you ran for, I believe, 150, 151, 149 yards in both of those games as a team. Very competitive games. You were there with good teams. Boom, boom, boom. All of that stuff. Okay. You ran for what? 150? 150 against Arizona. And then against Buffalo, how much was it? I'm pretty sure it was like around 149. I said like 149, 150, 151 or something, right? Okay, so I remember that. Okay, do you know what's happened since then? With the run game. They can't run, right? That was the last of them running. What was the last of it also? Austin Jackson. Austin Jackson went out and they stopped running. Nobody talks about that. But then, wait a minute. They're not running, but Tua's playing outstanding football. That's difficult. But nobody gives Tua, it's just hate the kid. He's not the guy, this, that, whatever. And, because the team doesn't win overall, and I know they're winning now some games, he gets the criticism. Nobody talks about the missing piece of Austin Jackson. Plus, Eichenberg is playing with injuries, and what's it called? Jones was playing with injuries. Now you got Winback and all that. Obviously, the left tackle is always playing all injured. So you lose Austin Jackson, and then the line is injury riddled too, on top of all of that at this point in time. It's just, and yet Tua is playing outstanding football. Nobody really, like, people have noticed that he's played football, but they haven't noticed the fact that he's playing football and they can only pass pro. They can't run block because they're all injured. Because they have done a decent job of pass pro, as in they can't really play the way they normally could because Austin Jackson is absolutely a difference maker for them. He's an athletic freak at right tackle. Very few guys in the league can move like him at right tackle. So you have no idea what a weapon he is on this line. And, just kind of goes under the radar. It just it's weird, man. This is a weird fan base, and people don't appreciate Tua. They really don't understand the screw ups of Mike McDaniel, even with personnel. If it wasn't for Mike McDaniel, now personnel is in charge of Mike McDaniel. That's where I think they need to make some changes for next season. Will those changes be in Mike McDaniel not coming back? No, but there's going to have to be some changes, something in the hierarchy or the way they do things, because there's a disconnect between what they do in the personnel department and then what happens with the coach and the coaching staff, and that has to change. That has to change, and nobody's going to get fired, right? Okay, well then you need to, from within, you better figure this crazy shit out, because you cannot keep doing one thing on the personnel side and then on the coaching side, it does not match anything that you're doing on the personnel side. And then the other thing I think that the personnel department has to do from now on is, what kind of player you want, Mike? Oh, I need this kind of, okay, that's it. We've heard enough. No suggestions anymore. No suggestions. We don't need to hear that you want OBJ. We don't need to hear it anymore, because sometimes your suggestions are not the best suggestion. Let the front office pick the specific players, because sometimes you have a tendency of picking players that you want, and then after it doesn't work out, And so they move on from some of those players eventually. Look at Wilson. You've been enamored with him, and where is he? What's he doing? He's on the roster for what? You love Julian Hill, and you keep, last week he actually made a catch, which was amazing. But it happens a lot with him. He keeps Tanner Connor around. It just like there's a lot of shit that goes on. You let Chris Brooks grow instead of Jeff Wilson. That's because you have an affinity for a specific player. You kept playing Mostert as he kept fumbling, and you waited too long to finally bench his ass, and you still haven't used Jalen Wright. There's a lot of shit that goes on with personnel decisions with Mike McDaniel that he ends up hurting himself in the process and hurts his team. So there has to be some kind of come to Jesus in the offseason when it comes to that, because he doesn't know what's best for his own team. Mike has a good idea of offense and play design. He just doesn't know how to execute it on a game in, game out basis, on a down in, down out basis, on a series in, series out basis. He just doesn't know how to cook. Just doesn't. What are you going to do? So, it is what it is. They're not going to make any changes. They're going to stay status quo. So if you're going to stay status quo and you're going to bring back this head coach, you're going to have to rein in some stuff here. He has too much say. and he doesn't really know what he's doing all the time. And that's a problem. Okay? Even if he's a decent communicator with the players, he is not a great coordinator. And that's a problem because he's a head coach and a coordinator. It's rough. It's rough. Maybe he won't be the coordinator next year. You never know. Maybe he does give up coordinating. Maybe he says Frank Smith will be the coordinator next year because it's too much to be the head coach and the coordinator. I don't know. But there needs to be a come to Jesus. Since everyone is signed, sealed, delivered, they're yours. So since that's the case, then you need to make some changes in the offseason. The structure of this team, the way it's being run. Okay? So that's maybe what I can tell you as a Dolphins fan, what you can look forward to if they do anything. So, by the way, the Big Cheese. We love Gary, Billy, all the great people out there at the Big Cheese, the holiday party platters. They are on, baby. So if your business, you want to hold, you're holding some kind of Christmas party, some kind of holiday party, whatever it is, and you're like, food, BigCheeseMiami.com. Any menu, any platter on the menu can become a party platter for you, baby. 305-662-6855. All dishes are available with meat sauce, tomato sauce, Alfredo sauce, pink sauce. Does not matter. Sauteed chicken, chicken francais, baked ziti, lasagna, eggplant parmesan, you name it. Check out the menu. They're at 8080 Southwest 67th Avenue. They're in Miami, right down the street from the University of Miami. And the walls are like a museum from the last 40 years. So check it out. The memories are amazing on those walls. You can spend easily an hour or more just walking around checking out all the walls. Am I wrong about that? I mean, it's crazy stuff. It's stuff that you haven't seen in forever or you've never seen. Posters, magazine covers, stuff that's signed, and it's just really, really cool. Pictures of all kinds of great canes, eating there, having some fun, famous people, everything. Just really, 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 really cool. So check it out there and go to see my friends at BigCheeseMiami.com. Let's see. Ray Sosa, thank you, sir, for the love on my Fort Lauderdale United hat. I like it, man. I like this black one when I went. You know me, I'm a hat guy, so I love wearing my hats. So when I went to see the ladies, which, by the way, the final home game of the season is this Saturday. So go support the ladies, all right? And support our Fort Lauderdale United. Support all our local teams. But yeah, it is a very cool hat. This logo is actually a cool logo. I gotta get me a kit. I gotta get the blue one. I want to get the blue one. That's the one I want to get. That's probably the shirt I want to get. I did get a couple of T-shirts when I went, and the hat. I had to get this hat because I thought this hat was super freaking cool. So yes, these are the ladies that play. Their stadium is the former Dolphin practice facility in Davie. They put bleachers on the other side also. They obviously squared it off and all that, and then they're remodeling the building itself where, the offices were and the training facility. They've done a really nice job. They got a really nice scoreboard there also. They've got to put another one. It's in its infancy stages, but it's so cool. And you know what, man? If you get time to take kids or go on down there and check it out, support our local sports, man. They do a nice job. And I had a good time when I went with the wife. Jay Gelfin, by the way, met us out there. We had a good time.
So, good stuff. Good stuff. Let's see. Big O, is McDaniel in charge of personnel decisions like starting Eichenberg? Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Big cheese, quarter chicken, Caesar salad, and half a dozen rolls slathered in olive oil and raw minced garlic. Isn't it so good? Those garlic rolls are amazing, man. Absolutely amazing. Anyway. Frankie wants to remind you that Mike McDaniel and Chris Greer both suck. Okay? Just in case you didn't know, Frankie Fresco wants to remind you. Okay? So I figured Frankie would want me to pass that on. Jay is in the house. Shabbat Shalom, Orlando, Sean, and chat crew. I'll be going tomorrow to Fort Lauderdale United match. There you go. I will be, by the way, at the Black Flag concert tonight. Anybody going? Anybody going to punk out with me? Huh? You going to punk out with me at the Black Flag concert? Big O, I have a question out of curiosity. Was it Greer's decision to draft Charles Harris instead of TJ Watt in 2017? I don't know. Probably Tannenbaum at that point. Or Gase, was it? Was 17 Gase? I'm not sure. Because back then it was just Tannenbaum had the final decision if he wanted to. Like, I know he drafted Jakeem Grant. I know that for a fact. He's the guy that drafted Jakeem Grant. But I don't know exactly. Have no idea. So, because at that time it was such a, like it's been for a while. It's been, a mess. Who was it? Second under Chris Greer and Adam Gase. Yeah. So I just 17. Yeah. So it was Adam Gase, right? Yeah. Adam Gase had final say, dude, in personnel, and Tannenbaum did too over Greer. Greer did not have any final say over any of those two guys contractually, legally, nothing. He was a personnel guy. Just gave the reports, and they decided. But again, when you have, what was it, Jim Hall or whatever, when you have people like that, they're, they don't really know what the hell they're talking about, and so they just keep repeating misinformation. That's all right. Big O, do you like wrestling? Do you watch this show?
Loves it.
Suds, thank you for the love on the super chat. Says, good morning, Big O. Just got to Houston yesterday. Apparently the FinFan meetup is at the Drift Bar Saturday. Nice. Our fans are the best, bro. We have no shot at the playoffs. The season's been over for, I don't know, nearly 2 months now. And they still go to road games. There are still thousands of Dolphin fans in Seattle, in Buffalo, wherever, dude. Doesn't matter. Houston this week, there'll be thousands, be a couple thousand easily. I'm sure if you go to bars around the Houston area, you'll run into people wearing Dolphins jerseys and hats and shirts and all kinds, because that's that. All 4 road trips, right? It didn't matter where we were. It didn't matter if we were in Indy. Didn't matter if we were in LA. Didn't matter if we were in Buffalo. Didn't matter where the hell we were, bro. We ran into whatever. We went down to that wharf in Seattle where everybody was at, and boom, Dolphin jersey walking around. We went to go eat at a nice restaurant. Group of Dolphin fans, just a couple tables. Remember that group of Dolphin fans? And by the way, it was a Mexican group. That was a Mexican group because NorCal knew one of them from a Mexico City Dolphin fan base. It was a group of guys, and I go to NorCal. I look, bro, there's a big group of Dolphin fans right there right here in the restaurant with us. And then when they walked by us on the way out, NorCal recognized one of them. He goes, "Oh, dude, that's the lead guy from the Mexico City fan base." Our fan base is the effing best, dude. The effing best. We have an amazing fan base. Our team does not even come close to deserving our fan base. Okay? They don't deserve people like Big E and Dolph Freaky and Sports Babe and what's it called, Gorilla Luke and all these people and the Dolphin Bandits, and they don't deserve all these people, bro. They don't deserve them, bro. They don't deserve them at all. Nothing. Sports Babe is putting together get-togethers in every stinking road trip that she goes to. I think she goes to practically every one. Bob is everywhere, constantly promoting the Dolphins. God bless him. He's got a ton of money, obviously, because he's at every game. You got it going, Bob. You got life going. But still, even if he's got the money, and look what he's doing with his money, following a losing team around. And he's got the energy, the vigor, the fire, the desire for the Dolphins every day of his life. Our team doesn't deserve our fan base, dude. They don't deserve our fan base. Ray Martinez, one of our proud sponsors, he's got a bunch of season tickets. William Quigley, I believe he has 6 tickets. There every game. It's amazing. Yes, the Jersey guy has 4. Yes. Steve Calabro, the Jersey guy, has 4. Eric, EJD, he goes to games. He travels to games. He went to Germany last year. I'm telling you, our team does not deserve our fans. All these fans that I meet, and I've gotten to know some of them, and I know them personally, they don't deserve, Dudley Do Wrong, they don't deserve any of these people. They don't deserve Dolphins talk. They don't deserve any of these people, bro. They don't deserve them at all. Because our fan base is championship caliber. Okay? That's what our fan base is. A bunch of freaking champions. They may not root for a championship team. They may root for a choking-ass team for the last 40 years. But they are incredible people. Above and beyond. Okay? So that's all I can say about people like Suds and the rest of you that root for this team, that buy the shirts, the jerseys, the hats, the season tickets, the red zone resident or NFL ticket passes or whatever the hell they're called. All that crap that whatever it is you do to love your team and follow this damn team, that all they do is torture your ass. You people are amazing. That's why I laugh at anybody that tries to even talk down our fan base. This team has given them nothing for 40 years, and all they do is love them, bro. It's amazing. Truly is amazing. It's impressive. Really is. So, Suds, have a lot of fun out there in Houston, my friend. I wish I was there with you. Let's see. Dolphins want a tall receiver. A.J. Brown not happy in Philly. What for, Costa? They're not going to use him here because we have a head coach that loves Oompa Loompas for fades. This is exactly what I was just talking about. This is exactly the diatribe I just went on with Mike McDaniel. He had a tight end that could sky up 12 feet in the air, and he didn't want to use him. This is the guy that would have a Rondé Gadsden there and say, nah, yeah, cut him. He would cut Rondé Gadsden. He would. But wait a minute, Coach. All we have to do is run him into the end zone. He jumps up in the air. He beats everybody for the ball. You can't take it away from his. Have you seen his hands, Coach? He's too slow. That's our beloved coach. So why do I want a tall receiver? It's not going to use him anyway. It's this guy is. He drives me crazy. Anyway. Big O is the crypto wrestler. And no, he does not like wrestling, but he does great wrestling predictions. See, now, once in a while, Frankie gets it right. There, he got it right. I am not a wrestling guy, but I am the greatest predictor of them all. Let's see. Linda Aponte drafted Charles Harris. No, Deion Jordan that we know, dude. No. That Jeff Ireland was in charge in those days. That we know for sure. Well, not for, what is it, Jim Hall? Is that idiot? Well, not when Jeff Ireland was here. It was Chris Greer making all the picks, not Jeff Ireland. No. Jeff Ireland made no picks while he was here. Chris was making all the picks. Jeff Ireland was just like a puppet for Chris Greer. That's what it was. He was just right. Exactly. A puppet. Jim Chris Greer Henson is what they call him. So remember, according to Jim Hall, Greer drafted all those guys. No, Jeff Ireland. No, dude. When Jimmy hired Chris Greer, that's it. It was over. He drafted Jarris McPhaillier, Chris Greer. He traded for Jim Druckenmiller. It wasn't Jimmy Johnson. No. What's wrong with you people? Chris Greer is the one that wanted John Avery, not Drew Brees. No. No, Chris Greer made those decisions. And then a few years later, when Saban was here and Chris Greer was working, according to Jim Hall, right? He also made that decision too. Again, he told Nick, no, go with Culpepper. You don't need Brees. And Chris Greer took Pat White. It wasn't Parcells. A lot of people, told you about how Parcells actually was convinced about Pat White because one of his assistant coaches convinced him. But no, it was Chris Greer. Just ask Jim Hall. Hall knows all. I figured it out. Hall knows all. That's really what's going on. That we're all stupid, and Jim Hall knows all. Yep. It was all Chris Greer. That's it. By the way, you can make a donation, Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That's Cash Big O Show, Cash App or Venmo. And you can make a Bitcoin or Ethereum donation, which, we kind of love that stuff. When you make a Bitcoin or Ethereum donation, those things are beautiful. So we appreciate it. And you can make a donation through PayPal also. It's another way that you can support the show. Oh, Jasmine coin up almost 11%, trying to make its way to 5 cents. Loving it now. Let's go. Jasmine blowing up. And Bitcoin trying to make it to 101 again. It's at 100,818. It's so bullish that it's found the floor at 100,000. I'll do a Crypto Bro show today too, also this afternoon, by the way, just so you all will know. Let's see what we got here. True Fin Fan. For season over, he sends a little Cash App love. For season over, Beckham, thanks for the memories. Thank you, True Fin Fan. I appreciate you, sir. And he sends a second Cash App. Thank you. Tired of these Greer here for 20-year assholes. Hey man, you know what can we say? They don't know what they don't know how to be accurate. It's all we can do, my brother. You know, it is what it is, as they say. But thank you. I appreciate you as always, my brother. Thank you for the Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That's Cash Big O Show, Cash App or Venmo. You can use the QR codes and you can send in your questions, comments, insults. You can also do it on PayPal also if you're out of the country because you can't use PayPal or Cash App. Howdy, Big O. Biggest waste wide receiver Fuller with his $10 million salary. No, it's $5 million, wasn't it? Or was it 10? No, it was 10. I think he's right. I think it was 10. Fuller, the guy that had that finger thing. Yeah. Yeah. That was fun. Will Fuller, yeah. Yeah, Will Fuller. Big O says NorCal. I heard Chris Greer likes tennis and racing, and he's responsible for the F1 track and the tennis courts. Yes. Of course. Yes. The gondola? Yes. Yeah, well, actually, Chris Greer is a big fan of carnivals when he was growing up, and he went over to Father Ross, and he said, "Dad, I'd like a gondola. Can I have a gondola for our stadium?" What do you want that for? Well, we can use it from one parking lot to another. I've always enjoyed the gondola. You go up in the air and you're going up and you're cruising above people and then you're spitting on them. It's fun. So Father Ross built the gondola. And now when you go to games, you can go watch the gondola, stand under it, and Chris Greer will spit on you. So enjoy yourself. Gus 1388, strong by you. Thank you, sir, for the love in the super chat. Chris Greer did draft the 70s Dolphins teams. You are correct. He hit on all of those. As sperm, he hit on all of those. First time an NFL organization has a sperm as a general manager. And it worked.
So it's kept them employed all these years.
Yes. Yes. From tadpole to human.
And Will Fuller, by the way, was 1 year, 10.6.
10.6.
Including a 9.6 signing bonus, 10 million guaranteed, average annual salary 10.6.
He gave the Dolphins the finger, basically. What year was that? How long ago is that already? Wow. That was terrible. Damn, we should have kept him, NorCal. LOL. Eddie Moore over Anquan Bolden. All Chris Greer's fault. Yeah. It's all like it's like the people that tell you now, oh, well, I don't like Tua because the Dolphins don't beat good teams. Okay, they haven't done that for 40 years. Well, they don't win playoff games. Well, they don't do that for 40 years. They don't make deep playoff runs. Well, they don't do that for 40 years. They don't beat playoff teams. Well, they don't do that normally for 40 years. It's kind of who they are. What's been going on in the last few years, it's a team thing for 40 years. Like, what'd you think? They were going to deep playoff runs under Jimmy Johnson? No. Under Wannstedt? No. Under the back end of Shula? No. Under Philbin? No. Under Gase? Under Flo? No. They don't make deep playoff runs under anybody, including Shula. You have to go back to the early 80s to the 70s. You have to go back 40 years ago for deep runs. It's like I was going back and forth with one of our guys. I love him, but he's completely lost. Like a lot of you on the whole quarterback thing. And it's like, well, at least we got the Super Bowl in 85. Yeah. And then you found out you were frauds like you are now. The Marino teams were frauds. In 85, you got to the Super Bowl because the AFC was shit. That's why. And when you got there, San Francisco spanked you so hard that you saw you didn't belong, because for 10 years from 85 to 95, the problem is, like my buddy there on Twitter, Doc, had no memory. It was all Washington, the Redskins, the Niners, the Giants, all winning the Super Bowls for 10 years. The Bills, you said the scores the other day. The Bills were the class of the AFC during that time, like the real class of the AFC, and they would get thoroughly embarrassed in Super Bowls. So even when they made that one run with Marino, they were frauds. Because anybody that has a defense led by Jay Brophy, you're a fraud. Oh, my God. Don McNeil, the walking wounded. Come on, man. Let's go. Too many of you don't either have the facts like a Jim Hall, or you have short-term memories, and you make it sound like everything going on now is something new. It's been going on for 40 years, dude. 40 years they've been choke artists. 40 years they've been soft, and they constantly get pushed around by everyone. Everyone pushes the Dolphins around. Dieppe Gwyn, thank you, sir. Sending in a little Bitcoin. Thank you on Cash App. Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That's Cash Big O Show. Cash App or Venmo. And you can make a Bitcoin or Ethereum donation. And Dieppe Gwyn makes my favorite donation, a Bitcoin donation. Thank you, Big O and Sean, for doing what you do. Appreciate you. It's very kind. True Fin Fan, once again, with a little Cash App action. For Greer, sign Greasy or Zonka. Can't remember. Both. Yep. But Zonka left Greer for the World Football League. So we got to get pissed off at Greer again. It was Greer's fault that Zonka, Kick, and Warfield. Am I right? I think Zonka, Kick, Warfield left for the World League. That's what kind of screwed us, kind of broke up our shit. You know what I'm saying? Oh, man. You guys are amazing. I hear you. Skyler for the value and brought more than his stats. Yeah, he brought a ton. The fact is, a 7th rounder, a lot of physical ability with Skyler, but your head coach couldn't figure out that he's not the guy. That was sad. Skyler says, has touched on this before too. You guys say, we should have kept this player. Meanwhile, they still might not have been great here. Scheme and coaching. Hey, dude, at the beginning of the year, we had a whole bunch of Dolphin fans. Oh, no, we should have brought back Connor. He's there in Seattle. Not playing well, and then ends up retiring. You don't hear them say that anymore. Now, there's out of the 226 that are right now on the chop board, There's a couple of them that sent in those Connor Williams comments at the beginning of the year. And by the way, Aaron Brewer's been terrific. But, I still had people complaining about Connor Williams and we should have signed him. And yet he was coming back from a devastating injury and he ends up retiring and he wasn't playing well. Yet I had people at the beginning of the year saying we should have brought back Connor Williams. And Greer's an idiot and this and that. Those people don't come back and say anything. Whatever, man. It's all right. Look, some things are going to work out. Some things aren't going to work out. Right? So the guy that complains about Beckham forgets about Jonnu Smith. You know what I'm saying? Doesn't say anything about the Jonnu Smith pickup at all. That thing happened with Shaq Barrett. They kind of made up with it with Ogba. Don't say anything. It's all right. Whatever. It is what it is. That's kind of the way it goes. You have problems with Teron Armstead. Not enough credit about Kendall Lamb. But let's just pick on everything that's negative instead, because it's all negative. And on the personnel side, I just don't see it that way. I do see it on the coaching side. The coaching side is pretty negative on my end. On the personnel side, you should be way better than what your record is. Now, here's where I lose the argument, okay? Those of you, when you say, hey, they hired the coach, and that's where the front office has not done a good job with Flo and with Mike McDaniel. That I have to admit. Skull Leader says, I'm not a big Tua fan, but he's not the problem. It's the coach and offensive scheme. There you go. Because Skull Leader knows that if you had a power running offense, right, and you ran the ball week in and week out for 150 yards and you were a punishing running team and teams had to prepare for the run all the time, Tua would be – you see what the stats he puts up now? It would be even better than that, which is ridiculous, but it would be even better than that. Because more of the field would be open because the linebacker and the safety have to come up and take care of the run, which then now Tua's killing you. But it's what people don't understand because they don't really follow the game. Skull Leader follows the game. He gets it. They're playing the wrong scheme on the quarterback. It's like saying, I've got Dan Marino. Great. Let's run the Ravens offense that we do with Lamar. Okay, wait a minute. We've got Josh Allen. I'm Ken Dorsey. I'm going to make you a pocket passer. How'd that work out? Skull Leader gets it. You got to play the right system for every player. Not every player. Let Mahomes. He can run. Do you want to put him in a Lamar Jackson Bills offense? No. He can run, but he'll run when it's the last resort. It's broken down, not by design. That's what Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson do because that's what they have to do in order to be effective quarterbacks. But you don't want to put Mahomes in those kind of offenses. No. He has the athletic ability to run, but it's not something he does. Shedeur Sanders. He can run for you a little bit, but is that what he does? No. Shedeur Sanders is a drop back, pure pocket passer. So you have to complement your players to what they play. Mike Gesicki, we're not lining him up on the line of scrimmage. No, we're going to put him off the line of scrimmage, in space. Every player is different. And every player, and not all players are Derrick Henry that can like fit in anything. In any era, any scheme, that shit just doesn't exist. There's only a couple of those guys in every position. Only a couple of those guys. The guy you can put in every scheme. But most players, they really belong in a scheme that really complements them more than others. And if your coach doesn't understand that and can define you, then he's going to struggle to get the max out of you. That's what coaching is all about. Skull Leader gets it. All right, let's go. Hour number 2 is next. Manny Navaro and our Canes Wear Miami Hurricanes report and our Big Cheese NIL and recruiting report is next.
Oh, I think I know what this is. Houston, we have a package. Hello?
No matter where you are, the Sloman Shield home security system guards your home. With next-gen perimeter protection, 24/7 monitoring, and interior motion sensing. And right now, get a free Sloman Shield security system and doorbell camera, all professionally installed, for free.
Shield your world, the Sloman Shield.
Welton Rayom has more than 62 years of litigation experience handling insurance disputes. They're committed to resolving even the toughest insurance claims quickly. Call them for a free consultation. 954-966-4646. At Welton Rayom, they don't get paid unless you win. Property damage claims to your home, business, or condo as a result of a hurricane. Welton Rayom can help. Water, mold, fire, smoke damage, Welton Rayom can help. Call 954-966-4646. The viewpoint, statements, or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc., ownership, management, sponsors, or website. If you're a Miami sports fan, there's only one store to go to, and that's Canes Wear at Miami Fanwear in Davie. They're your one-stop shop for all your inner Miami CF, Canes, Dolphins, Panthers, and Marlins merchandise. They have hats, t-shirts, game day jerseys, and so much more. Located at 2655 South University Drive in Davie, and open 24/7 online at caneswear.com or innermiamiwear.com. Call them at 954-835-5597. Canes Wear, the spot where inner Miami and all Miami sports fans shop. Time for Canes fans to get what they want. Information, insight, and perspective. It's the Canes Wear Miami Hurricanes Report with Manny Navaro. Exclusively on a Big O radio show. Here's Big O and insider Manny Navaro.
Right. How you feeling, my man? You feeling good?
Feeling good. Oh, I mean, I slept in a little late because I was up until about 3 or 4 in the morning, working the transfer portal. So I'm a little fresh this morning as I talk to you.
Well, I would imagine there's a ton of them going to FIU with their new head coach and with Pitbull dishing out all that money and everything. So before I get on the Canes bandwagon, what'd you think of them Golden Panthers?
Yeah, I thought it was a good hire. Willie Simmons, I thought him or Tim Harris Jr. would be excellent pickups. Tim Harris Jr., of course, is a South Florida guy. He ends up getting hired instead. Yeah, ends up getting hired instead at Florida State as the receivers coach. And, Willie Simmons is a guy that is beloved in the coaching community. There's a lot of people who think very highly of him. He did a great job at Florida A&M a couple years ago. Then he goes to Duke to make some more money and to kind of, help his career go along. And now he gets hired at at an FBS school like FIU has frankly always underachieved, in my opinion. It's been and having been a student there, I can say that, right? A guy who I think can have some success there because he's going to recruit well, and it's a tough job. Winning at FIU is next to impossible in this NIL era because you don't have the same resources all the other Power 5 schools do, and most of the time,
is Pete Garcia still in the way? I mean, is he still there?
He is not. He is not.
Okay. Because
the point
that talk about hurdles.
Yes, that is a hurdle. That is a large one. Yeah, look, I think ultimately, like, you can have success at FIU, but you're just not gonna to sustain it. You have to recruit great. You got to play a lot of freshmen, got to play a lot of sophomores, and then when they go to get paid by an SEC school or an ACC school or a Big Ten school, you say goodbye to them and you just bring in the next guy. But I think Willie Simmons can do that there. I think he can have success.
Okay. All right. That's cool. I hope so because, man, my daughter and my wife are both graduates of FIU, but it's like I agree with you. They have underachieved because that campus is mammoth. They have more buildings now than downtown Miami. They can produce a lot. They got a beautiful stadium, dude. And they have just not been able, I don't know what it is. And they do charge the shit out of their students for that football program, okay? Because students will complain a lot about when they pay, they see that surcharge that goes to athletics, and it's a big charge, and yet they haven't really produced and they haven't gotten anything done. And it's, it's other people do stuff in those kind of conferences. You've seen FAU have some success, or Richmond or App State or whatever. You just go around. USF climbed itself out of it, years ago at one point. UCF, I mean, how many national championships has UCF won?
Oh, yeah.
Lots.
For sure.
So they got to do better, bro, at FIU. Way better.
I'm with you. And not enough winning seasons. And the two winningest coaches in FIU history, Butch Davis, Mario Cristobal, two excellent recruiters, two guys that have a lot of ability to just sort of restock the shelves. So to me, that's what they need. They need another guy who can do that consistently because, again, you are not going to hold on to your players. Imagine T.Y. Hilton in today's NIL environment. That didn't exist when he was there. Would he have stayed at FIU and been an FIU lifer the way that he turned out to be? Hell no. So that's just the world you live in now, and you got to make it work.
All right. Canes wise, what are we expecting here? What kind of turnover are we expecting this offseason with the Miami Hurricanes?
Well, I mean, look, Cam Ward is obviously going pro, right? He's got no eligibility left, but you never know about Damian Martinez. He has still not announced that he is going pro. He's planning to play in the bowl game. So that'll be an interesting sort of, we'll see what happens with that junior. I think Jalen Rivers is already gone. He's going to play in the Senior Bowl. Still had technically 1 year of eligibility left if he wanted it because of those injuries that he had early in his career.
Dude. That's NFL talent, Jalen Rivers.
Yeah. Yes, he's going to go play guard for somebody for sure. So I think for the most part, we know who's gone, right? I mean, there's a good group of seniors. Xavier Restrepo is gone. You got guys on the defensive line that are gone that ran out of eligibility. You have guys in the secondary that are gone. That were longtime starters for you. Daryl Porter Jr., Mish Powell. Those guys are all gone. They have to be replaced. So I don't think there's much in the way in terms of nervousness over who else might go in terms of key quality guys. The only one is Damian Martinez because he could technically come back. He's only a junior, so we will see what happens with Martinez. I personally think he's going to go pro, but we will see what he decides after the bowl game.
Yeah, I mean, you're a running back. You're not going to be you're not really going to improve your draft stock that much, dude. Running backs are just not really, unless you're a freak. And you're not really that kind of running back. You're a hell of a running back. Don't get me wrong.
Right.
But you're not a freak. So since you're not a freak, you're not really going to go in the first round. You're going to go in the middle rounds as it is. Go, bro. That's what I would do if I'm him. But if I'm looking at this team, Mario's going to have to replace a lot of leaders.
Yeah.
Okay. And so you're not only losing playmakers, you're losing a lot of leadership. And to me, you didn't really accomplish everything you needed this season. You kind of underachieved, I have to say. And now you're going to lose a lot of leadership. And, people are expecting you to continue upward with this program. That's a hell of a hurdle, speaking of hurdles, that Cristobal is going to have to overcome.
There's no doubt. You look at the offense and you say who's coming back. Mark Fletcher, I guess, is the leader in the running back room, right? He's an NFL guy. You have somebody there, but the quarterback room, big question mark. Is it Emory Williams? Is it a transfer that you end up getting in? Receiver room, Xavier Restrepo, Jacoby George are gone. Sam Brown is probably
Jalen Rivers.
Yeah, Jalen Rivers on the offensive line. I mean, that guy's gone. You're going to be counting on some guys. I mean, look, I think you're going to have Francis Mauinoa. You'll have Inez Cooper on the offensive line. So the right side of your offensive line, your running back room, defensive line, you'll still have Ruben Bain, who's very highly respected in that locker room. But you're right. I mean, overall, there are guys that are going to have to step up, and I think the biggest area is the secondary. OJ Frederick is the best guy that they've got back there, and he's a freshman, and he's coming. He'll be coming back for his sophomore year. It's hard to lead even as a sophomore to get people to follow you at that point. So I agree. I think those are the areas that they need to address, and again, feels like a wasted opportunity, brother, especially in light of very rarely are teams like Clemson and SMU kind of down the way that they were. I mean, SMU is on the rise, but Clemson was certainly down. They end up winning the conference. SMU was a surprise team this was the year for Miami to cash in, and they didn't.
No, that's why I'm saying that.
Yeah.
This was, and then so next year will be even more difficult. And now, by the way, now you've got Bill Belichick in the conference. Yeah. Okay, Chapel Bill is now in the conference. Yeah, listen, while I think this is going to be an absolute beautiful disaster, and I'm going to enjoy it, a really entertaining disaster, he's still going to be a pain in the ass coach for a guy like Cristobal to coach up against. You know what I'm saying? I don't think in the big picture he's a threat, but I think in the overall picture, he'll be a pain in the ass for some of these coaches in the ACC, like a Mario Cristobal, because as I've said on the show, Mario is a beautiful human being. We all know that. He's the top-notch worker. He's a great recruiter. He's a custodian. He's a father figure, all of that. You say all those things about Mario. The one thing nobody ever says about Mario, great coach.
Yeah.
Nobody ever says that about Mario. They say great recruiter, great worker, tireless worker, all that. Nobody ever says that. And that's one thing that, Coach Belichick, he might have an issue with the personnel stuff and all that, but his X's and O's is still pretty damn good. And he's going to be a pain in the ass in that conference for some of these people.
There's no doubt, and I'll say this: the good thing for Mario is they don't have to worry about playing North Carolina until 2026, which he may be gone by then, right? I think the expectation is there'll be an NFL team that maybe decides, well, you know what, we'll give him a chance. Somebody who might be in a really rough spot. I guess he really wants that all-time wins record. But
I think the NFL gave up on him, dude.
You think it's over?
I think they turned the page on him, because if not, he would have gotten a job right now. Somebody should have hired him if they really wanted him, because there's going to be a bunch of jobs available. And he wanted the Chicago job. He wanted what was the other job that he wanted that had a quarterback also? The Jacksonville job. And he just, they had no interest in him whatsoever. That's why I think he took North Carolina, because he realized the NFL doesn't want him anymore, dude. It's you lived it, bro. It's Chuck Noll, it's Tom Landry, it's Don Shula, it's Bill Parcells. We got him here. All these guys, it gets to a point where, look, I hate to say it, I love him to death, and I don't want him to go anywhere. He can leave whenever he wants, but Riley can't do things like he used to do anymore.
Right.
His style of the way he used to run an NBA team and all that.
Yeah.
He keeps running into a wall now because he doesn't do it the right way. Nobody gives a shit about your rings anymore, bro. It's cap space and picks. And you refuse to take the 4 steps back in order to pick up all that shit. You want to keep putting a Band-Aid on a problem. And, bro, that just does not fly in the NBA.
The game evolves.
The game evolves. Everybody reaches their time. And I think that time for Belichick, once he lost Brady, he looked bad, dude.
Yeah, he really did. He really did. And it'll be interesting to see what happens. I think obviously this is more of a power play for his son to get a head coaching job. His son is the defensive coordinator at Washington. And, to be able to kind of move up the ladder a little quicker with Belichick's, blessing, so to speak, right? That he's the guy who comes in and fixes things for North Carolina. And look, let's face it, that situation there, that athletic director wasn't happy the way things sort of ended with Mac Brown and wanted him gone, and there was a power struggle there for money. It's beautiful. If you care about ACC football, want to read about the mess at North Carolina, The Athletic has some interesting pieces on it. But I'll just say, I think
initially Mac Brown had success at North Carolina and left to Texas.
Yeah, everybody wants to move to something bigger, and that's the case in college football across the board, which is why this Power 2 structure is really interesting, because I think there's going to be a lot of programs, Miami included, that are going to be frustrated the next few years when the best players in the country say, you guys aren't big enough for us. All the TV ratings, all the action is in the SEC and Big Ten, and there's going to be a big gap in terms of money too, in terms of what these
Are they
schools
going to
bring in.
provide the money for Belichick to compete?
Supposedly,
NIL?
there's some rich donors over there that are going to do their part to make him happy here in the beginning. But again, I think everybody sort of views this as it's going to be a failure because he's just not a college guy. He's never. How is he going to recruit
I don't
17
know
and
how he's going to
18-year-old
relate
kids?
to them. Yeah.
Right. So, I mean, yes, you got to pay these kids, but you also got to recruit them. You still got to convince them to come to your school because somebody else will pay them otherwise.
Yeah. It's crazy. All right. Coaching wise, you have always nailed this, that he takes forever to make his changes.
Yeah.
Will he make a change with Guidry?
I think he will eventually if the right coaches become available to replace him. I think Mario always looks at it from that perspective: is can I upgrade and can I get something better? I think he's tried to do that. Sometimes he's failed, right? You look at some of the previous hires, offensive coordinators, for instance, that failed. So I think it's a matter of can I upgrade? But I think he will because I think eventually there will be some guys that come on the market.
By the way, don't forget at Canes, where you use our code BIG010, you will get 10% off. Go check it out. They got anything and everything practically with a Canes logo on it. They've got Inter Miami gear. Is it still 50% off? I think it is, right? Still 50% off all Inter Miami gear. They don't have any Inter Miami chokers, but I have told Brett that they should order chokers because it's really apropos. Seriously, the ladies love chokers.
That's right.
And so does the team. Anyway, they also got Dolphins, Miami Heat, Panthers gear, all that good stuff. So go check it out there at Caneswear at Miami Fanwear and use our code BIG010. You will get 10% off. Speaking of defensive coordinators, do you have any names? Anybody out there? Have you been studying it, looking at it like, well, if they fire Guidry, this might be a name. Do you have anything for me? I hate to put you on the spot there on that one because I know that's a big ass pool to go by.
Yeah, Purdue just fired their head coach, who I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but I know he was a really good defensive coach, and I can't remember now what his name is. It's escaping me. Anyway, he's a really good defensive coach, Ryan Walters. Won 5-19 as a head coach. Not good enough as a head coach, but I think potentially could be somebody that is intriguing because he can coach defense. He can get the job done on that side of the ball. So you look at retreads, guys that maybe have ability but just didn't work out as head coaches. I think that's a name to keep in mind. I don't have any others for you right now off the top of my head. I think it's more of who becomes available when chess pieces move around, which usually happens in January, mid to late January, because most of these coaches are it's so weird right now, especially because of the playoff.
Right.
I mean, you're in the middle of free agency right now. Free agency started on Monday. You just had recruiting a week ago Wednesday. So you signed all the high school recruits. Now you're getting all the college players. And then it's when the coaches leave a month later.
Right. Yeah,
so
that's why I knew it was an unfair question because he really doesn't have he doesn't really have all the candidates yet. He doesn't really know who's available completely yet.
Correct.
Or who he could steal.
Yeah.
At the same time. So all of those things, I'm sure they're going through that now is probably what they're trying. I'm sure he had already a list of coordinators, special teams, defensive coordinators, guys that he's already looking at or already targeting or following and that kind of shit. So,
there's no doubt.
He's got to have.
There's no doubt, and I think it's just gonna be a matter of, again, who becomes available and where the pieces shift around. Because again, this is just so people understand how the calendar has changed. Now that you have the college football playoff, which isn't even this weekend, it's the next weekend. Okay, those teams, right? You're gonna have a bunch of kids that play in those games and then enter the transfer portal right after. The ones who lose are gonna enter. So then you're gonna have those coaches all of a sudden. Whoever loses next weekend, those guys are gonna start looking for somewhere else to go. Then the following week, right, when you have the quarterfinal game, same process. It's it's a very bizarre thing. And so what I would tell you is every other week, you're going to have news trickling in because as teams get eliminated, people are going to start hitting the market. So it's like a delayed release of what happens.
Follow him on Twitter at Manny_Navaro. And of course, subscribe to The Athletic so you can follow everything going on, and check out the website at caneswear.com. Follow them on Twitter at Canes_wear. And remember, you use our code BIGO10, you will get 10% off. And if you order over $99 online, you will get free shipping. Our Caneswear Miami Hurricanes report.
Welcome to Caneswear. New store, new items, same great experience. Family owned and operated since 2010, Caneswear has the latest merchandise from the Miami Hurricanes, Miami Dolphins, Florida Panthers, Inter Miami CF, and more. Come visit us at our store in Davie on University Drive, just south of 595, or online at caneswear.com. Caneswear, the spot Miami fans shop.
We step into the world of big dreams, big moves, and big money. It's the Big Cheese Miami Recruiting and NIL Report with Manny Navaro. After 40 years, the Big Cheese remains dedicated to serving the finest Italian dinners, pizza, pasta, subs, and salads. All of their pasta is imported from Italy and cooked fresh every day. Visit BigCheeseMiami.com. Now, let's find out who's the Big Cheese the Miami Hurricanes are working on with insider Manny Navaro.
All right. We are back, and we've got our BigCheeseMiami.com NIL and recruiting report. And remember, the holiday platters are out. It is the holiday season, so if you're looking to treat your friends, your employees, your customers, whatever it is, they can make any dish a party platter for you with meat sauce, tomato sauce, Alfredo sauce, or pink sauce. Please reach out to the great folks at the Big Cheese, 305-662-6855, or go treat yourself, man, to some great pastas, fresh pasta shipped from Italy and cooked fresh daily, and those garlic rolls are to die for. BigCheeseMiami.com. All righty. Let's get to the Big Cheese stuff going on right now. All right, who is Miami targeting in the transfer portal right now? Mr. Manny Navaro. And who does Miami need as in help too at the same time?
Well, I certainly think they could use help all over the field. And if you've studied Mario the last couple years, he will sign more, a dozen or more transfers every single year. I think he had 16 last year. 11 of those guys ended up becoming starters for the program. So I fully expect Miami to be very busy. For those of you scoring at home and wondering, well, who have they already dumped, right? Like who's out the door? Let's start with that, because everybody always says, Manny, who did they lose? They've lost 5 guys so far to the portal. None of them were starters. Chris Johnson Jr. is kind of the biggest name because he was a really fast, explosive running back. Again, crowded wide receiver room. So you're fine with that. You got Robert Stafford, Robbie Washington, 2 cornerbacks who didn't see the field. Washington was a converted corner. He's gonna play wide receiver wherever he goes next. You had Antonio Tripp, who was the 15th offensive lineman. Reese Poffenbarger, the quarterback who they signed a year ago from Albany, didn't play at all. Those are the guys that are gone so far. I expect more will enter, which will create more room and needs in other places. But when you start looking at who Miami has lined up for early visits, and again, I want to remind the listeners, the transfer portal opened officially on Monday, doesn't close until December 28th. You have a 20-day window. And then on top of that, if your team plays in the college football playoffs past December 28th, you have 5 days post the end of your season, meaning you lose in the playoffs, semifinals, quarterfinals, whatever it is. You have 5 days after that to still put your name in the portal. So this process is going to be a long time, okay? So maybe not a bunch of exciting names right now for Miami, but names nonetheless. Let's start with Arizona cornerback Emmanuel Carnley, former 3-star recruit, 3 years of eligibility left, a freshman, 6'3", 184 pounds, long, lanky cornerback. Started 6 games this past season for an Arizona team that was not very good, but a guy that has a lot of upside. Ole Miss wants him. That's where he's visiting first. He's visiting Miami next, and then he's got Michigan afterward. That is a guy, I think, when you think about the cornerback position and where Miami struggled this season,
Big time.
6'3", 184, 3 years of eligibility left. That's a lot of value right there.
Yeah, and that's what I think. If you're Mario, you need to go get some tested guys. You need to go get some guys that have proven. That was the beauty of the Cam Ward transfer. You already knew what he was, and so now when you got him, it was an easy transfer, and it really helped you out, in many ways. You've got to go get yourself a couple of experienced corners, man, for this team, big time for next year. God, you need that badly.
You do, and I would say safety as well. You have to go out there and find some guys that can play that position. One of them that's not necessarily linked to Miami, but certainly on the radar. And by the way, I'm keeping track. Me and about 3 other writers are in charge of all of the transfer portal stuff for The Athletic now. So I am on top of who all of these elite guys are this year. I don't just worry about Miami guys, but one guy that I would really love for them to go after is Dylan Thieneman from Purdue. A guy who was a freshman of the year in the Big Ten 2 years ago, 24 career starts. Look, he's probably going to end up at Michigan or Ohio State or one of those type of schools out there in the Midwest and stay out there. But that's the kind of guy that you look at and you say, who could Miami get to solve all of their safety issues? That guy, for sure. One of the top position players overall that's available right now in the portal. All right, another position in need, that we can jump into. Wide receiver. Think about it. You're losing Jacoby George. You're losing Xavier Restrepo. You're going to have a bunch of young guys at that position. We talked about FIU in the previous segment. Well, guess who Miami's after? They're after FIU's Eric Rivers, who finished 5th in the country last season in receiving yardage, 62 catches, 1,172 yards, 12 touchdowns. He actually had more receiving yards than Travis Hunter. Okay, this guy put up huge numbers. Virginia, Nebraska are also interested in him. He's only 5'11", 175 pounds, but slot receiver, guy that who could potentially go in and replace an Xavier Restrepo. You could put him on the outside, let him be explosive as well. So a guy that I think Miami is interested in signing. Again, there could be bigger names that pop into the portal after the playoffs, but right now, you talk about production, about a guy who's proven it, did it at a high level, even at FIU. You would take a guy with that kind of experience to help your receiver room.
Yeah, but he's a short receiver. Mike McDaniel may want him too.
That's true. That's true.
I'm just saying. I mean, he likes his Oompa Loompas. He looks at him, he goes 5'11". Wow, we could play jump ball with that guy on our team. Let's go.
All right, here's another guy who's a little less productive. Also comes from the G5 ranks, at least his history is, but he was all conference before when he was at Liberty. CJ Daniels from LSU, 6'2", 205 pounds, kind of a one year thing with him. 30 career starts, had 42 catches for 480 yards last year at LSU. Not huge numbers, but when he was at Liberty, he produced better, over 1,000 yards in 2023. All second team All Conference USA guy. Georgia Tech, Auburn, Georgia, Ole Miss, all interested in him. He's supposed to be in here this weekend as well. So I would say for right now, in terms of guys to keep an eye on, those 3 will be here this weekend. You have more that I can go over in a bit, but those are the 3 big names right now going into this weekend.
Okay, all right, good stuff there, man. I mean, they're going to need that. I mean, these are big time need positions, for them. So obviously, and with the running back, do you go for a running back also because you still don't know if you're going to lose what's it called?
Damian Martinez, yeah.
Martinez, but you already lost the other kid.
Right.
What is it? Allen? What was it? The speed kid? What's his name? Not Allen.
AJ Allen was the one who left.
It was Allen, right? Yes,
yeah.
Allen.
AJ Allen is one of the guys who has gone. Yes, for sure. I mean that's a position that you worry about, right? You think, do we need to add a 5th, a 4th, or sort of another veteran guy, especially if there's injuries? I know that they like the freshman that they just signed, Jared Pringle, super fast, super speedy. You got Jordan Lyle back. You've got Mark Fletcher back. You have other guys on this roster that can produce. Okay. So I'm not as worried about. I don't think that position is as worrisome because you've got 2 absolute studs. I think that are NFL type guys in Lyle and Fletcher. Like I said, Chris Johnson is gone. You also have Chris Wheatley-Humphrey, who's another speed guy. I
only worry if you lose Martinez. That's it, because then Fletcher's had an injury, and then so just in case you want that. God, it was such a luxury this year that every time they handed it off, it was 3 studs, dude. 3 studs.
Yeah. No, listen, you want to have that kind of depth, and you had AJ Allen on top of that, right? You had another guy in case something happened that you could turn to. So, yeah, I think there will be guys. Again, this thing is it's gonna be several weeks, man. There are gonna be good players who hop in the weeks ahead. So for the Miami fans that are like anxious, hey, they didn't sign anybody yet, or hey, they haven't got. It's like, dude, there's guys that I'm sure they've had conversations with that said, hey, when this playoff run ends, I'm gonna jump in the portal.
They got Cam Ward late, didn't they?
They got Cam Ward in mid-January. People forget that, but that's the way this thing is. And all that matters ultimately is that you get your name in the portal in the time frame. So everybody who's not in the playoff, okay, has until the 28th to do that. Everybody who is in the playoff has 5 days after their team is eliminated to still enter.
Yeah, because if I remember correctly, we were panicking about the quarterback position for a while. And it was like, oh my God, they don't have a quarterback. They don't have a quarterback. And then all of a sudden they got Cam Ward. And it was like, oh shit. Okay. And it was like a blessing to get a guy like that late in the whole process. So it's again, we're going to have patience for everything, for the players and possibly for a new defensive coordinator too. At the same time, by the way, could Jason Taylor get elevated as defensive coordinator?
I don't know. That's a good question. I think it just sort of depends on how much confidence Mario has on him being ready to be a play caller and to set up the whole game plan. Certainly, he loves the way Jason recruits and the job he did getting some really super elite defensive linemen to sign the last couple of years. He's done his job on that end of it. But I don't know. I don't know where Mario's head is at. And ultimately, I still believe in my heart that whenever the day, Jason Taylor gets the call from the Dolphins or somebody else to go coach professionally, that might be easier than that lifestyle of coaching in college and having to recruit and be on the road and all that kind of stuff.
I normally would have disagreed with you, but because of the way college football is now, I think a lot of guys are saying, "No, you know what? I'll deal with these pro athletes." Yeah, instead of just chasing these kids around who are not going to be happy one week and happy the next week and really pissed off the week after that, and then they want to transfer all the time. Yeah, it's got to be it's demoralizing as an adult having to kiss a kid's ass. Put it that way.
Well, I know the thing that's really changed the rule is how many times you can transfer now and the fact that you don't have to sit out. I mean, I just wrote a story this week about a quarterback who's looking for his fifth school in 6 years. I mean, it's pretty ridiculous. But when you get to the point where you're on your fifth school, it kind of makes a mockery of the whole process. And so I just think, people don't understand that. I think that all of these changes in college football, a lot of casual sports fans are like, oh, NIL, what is that? Or, oh, what is the portal? And it's like, it's free agency. And just imagine pro sports with 1-year contracts. Everybody's on a 1-year contract.
Right.
Just imagine what that's like. The chaos of what it would be like to run a team every single year where you have to convince your players to come back.
It's that kid that's transferred like 5 times now. It's the equivalent of that person, your family member, a friend that's been married 3-4 times, and you're like, hey, dude, you may want to give up on this. You may want to look in the mirror. It's you keep blaming the spouses, but you might be the issue here, buddy. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, transferring 5 times. Yeah, that's like that. Isn't it receiver or corner or something? Didn't we get back some kid now that was all over the place too, and he was in headlines all over? Wasn't there a guy like that? Some malcontent that he ended back here? And Arizona, Florida, here, something like that. You know who I'm talking about?
No, not off the top of my head. I'm trying to. I don't know if you're talking about the 9th year guy that Miami had, Cam McCormick. Who
no. I'm talking about a problem child that it was a quarterback. Was it a quarterback? Florida, Arizona, and then came. But wasn't
Jaden Rashada. I got you.
Yeah,
yes.
was that? Yeah, he was coming back here.
Well, he was at Georgia most recently. I think he's still there right now. But he started off committed to Florida, then Miami, went back to Florida, signed with Florida, went to Arizona, home to Arizona State actually,
That's the one,
and then now is at Georgia. So yes, and the guy hasn't even played yet. By the way,
I know.
Yeah,
Right. That's the clown that I thought he was here or something back there somewhere, sitting there or something. Okay.
Yeah.
God, yeah, that's crazy. Those are the kind of kids you want to stay away from because, man, and if I get it, bro. I get why the guy left UCLA to go to Wisconsin or Michigan.
No,
or
Ohio State.
Ohio
Yeah,
State or
Chip
whatever.
Kelly left. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
we just saw this guy leave UCF to go to Florida
Gus
State.
Malzahn. Yeah, exactly.
It's too much, bro. What are you going to say?
But then you got Bill Belichick saying, I can do it.
Yeah, I don't know. What did Saban tell him that still convinced him that he could do it? I don't get that. I don't understand that one.
That's the story I want to read. I want to hear what Nick Saban had to say about all this because Saban left, obviously, college, left the pros for college because of he hated, dealing with the money and dealing with the whole NFL aspect, and then now essentially left college because the same reason. So I don't know. I wonder what advice Saban gave him because
unless
I don't,
Belichick is really doing it for his kid, and then
right.
if you're doing it for blood, well then, hey man, we can all understand that.
Right. Right.
That's I do anything for my daughter, right? So that it is what it is. So I get it. I totally get it. Follow him on Twitter at Manny_Navaro and make sure you subscribe to The Athletic. What do you got going on in The Athletic, sir?
Well, we just put out our list of top 30 quarterbacks in the transfer portal. That we produced that this morning. I had a huge roundup on sort of what's happened over the first 72 hours in the transfer portal as well. I'm glad you and I were able to talk Hurricanes because I haven't been able to talk Hurricanes yet in terms of what they were doing. I haven't been able to put out any of that stuff because I'm so bogged down with all the national stuff and what's happening across the country. But again, nothing's really happened with Miami yet. They're beginning to host guys. And, I'm sure I will have a write-up on Miami at some point. It's just overwhelming the amount. There's over 1,400 kids right now in the portal. Oh, and I've got a database with backgrounds and all kinds of stuff with all of these kids' names. Charting it all. And so if you want some good coverage of the portal, come to The Athletic.
You got it. There you go. Follow him on Twitter at Manny_Navaro. Manny, have a fantastic weekend, my brother. We will catch up on Tuesday, my friend. Thank you, sir.
All right, man. Good talking.
You got it. The great Manny Navaro. And of course, visit our friends at BigCheeseMiami.com. Go there personally, man. 8080 Southwest 67th Avenue. The food is so freaking delicious. They've been around for 40 years, dominant. When a restaurant's around for 40 years, it's because they do it right. And that's why when you go in there, the employees have been around for 10, 15, 25 years. It is crazy because it's like a family. And you'll feel like it when you walk in. BigCheeseMiami.com.
You've been listening to the Big Cheese Miami Recruiting and NIL Report with Manny Navaro. At the Big Cheese Miami, they continue to purchase the same high-quality ingredients that the most expensive Italian restaurants use. The difference is they serve large portions at a family price. Visit the Big Cheese at 8080 Southwest 67th Avenue in Miami. Call 305-662-6855 or go to thebigcheesemiami.com. Go Canes!
Gotta ride Charlie Anido. Big O, 6 years is a long time in the NFL. How many more years head coach hires should we give Chris Grier? Well, all I can tell you is this, my friend, for the 400th time. I don't run the team. I don't own the team. All I can tell you is I'm not happy with Mike McDaniel. Some of you aren't happy with Chris Grier. Some of you aren't happy with Mike McDaniel and Chris Grier and Tua. Okay. All I know is this. No changes are going to be made. They're all coming back. So what are we going to do? I can bitch and complain about Mike McDaniel, how much I would rather have Vrabel here instead. I'd rather have Darren Rizzi here as my head coach. Okay. But it is what it is. So what are we going to do? Everybody's coming back. Okay. Tua's coming back. For those of you that don't like Tua, I don't have an issue with Tua. Mike McDaniel's coming back. For those of you that don't like Mike McDaniel, I don't like Mike McDaniel either, but he's coming back. Okay? Chris Greer. I don't have a problem with Marvin Allen, Chris Greer, Reggie McKenzie. I really don't, but I know a lot of you do. They're coming back. Okay? Everybody's under contract. Everybody's got new deals. So, but here's what I said earlier. No, in fact, you need to go back and check out what I said earlier on maybe what happens. So there you go. What else do we have? My fellow Dolphins have the right to defend them all you want. That's your right. We'll see who's wrong. So far, I'm right because we are losing. That's it. They're losing. They're losing. Ocala Joe, thank you, sir, for the love. On Cash App, thank you. Sent in a little love. He says, for keeping it real as always, Big O. Thank you, Ocala Joe. Thank you. Remember, Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That is Cash Big O Show, Cash App or Venmo. And you can also make a Bitcoin or Ethereum donation. By the way, I am seeing the ZDX in front of me, and you can get electrified here at Acura Pembroke Pines, $449 a month. All lease features right now, 0.9% financing for 72 months. 0.9% financing. That is amazing. $449. Okay, the RDX, my wife drives one. She's been driving one for 14, 15 years now. $399 a month right now in stock, ready for immediate delivery. Check out all the vehicles out here. The Integra. Oh, man, that thing is beautiful. $339 a month. All these features, 3.9% financing for 60 months. So come on out here. The ILX. So many great vehicles, dude. So check it out. The MDX. Amazing stuff. And by the way, we've got a lot of brand new vehicles. Also a bunch of certified pre-owned vehicles. And it is overflowing, and they're ready to make you a deal here at Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. Number one, by the way, in the Southeast United States. What else do we have here? Big O, I watched some game film of Patrick Paul and was quite impressed overall. He has much potential to be a quality tackle. Let's hope so, man. Let's hope he turns a corner. He is a mammoth and strong human being. Once he gets his hands on you, it's like you're done, bro. Yes.
Yeah, when Austin Jackson returns healthy, I'm interested to see with those two on the ends how good that running game can get. I mean, I know you got to fill in,
right?
Or maybe
else.
It changes with the inside, but those two on the outside, watching Paul and some of the plays that he had where he's driving guys 10, 15 yards downfield, and then Austin Jackson, we know what he's done in the run game. Very interested to see how that, again, it goes with.
I think
you got to call the run game, but it'll be very interesting to see how that goes.
I think fat guys are going to be a focus of the draft this year on both sides, guard and tackle. I think they're going to look for a guard that can muscle some people around. They need it. They're great at tackle. I like Patrick Paul. I love Austin Jackson. He's turned in. They're good at center. Brewer's turned into a terrific player for this system overall. So I think that they're going to try to get themselves a guard and definitely a defensive tackle. So that first and second rounds could be what and it could be either or in the first, either or in the second, actually. You know what I mean? In a best case scenario, usually your better defensive tackles, you want to get them in that first round. You know what I'm saying? But it happens that you get them in the second round too. But something tells me fat guys might be a focus of the draft because of the need for this team overall. Mr. Spock says, Darren Rizzi yells at some of these guys here. They check out from the game. Guaranteed that's part of the mental game where players, Brooks calls it soft. Yeah. Let's see. What else? I would trade Jay Phillips before he decides to retire. Jalen Phillips? He's coming back from an injury. You're not going to be able to trade him now. And no, dude, you've got to see what you got for next year and find out if you're going to even re-sign him, my brother. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, no. Remember, Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That's Cash Big O Show, Cash App or Venmo. And you can make a Bitcoin or Ethereum donation, and you can also make a donation on PayPal. Use the QR codes. Send in your questions and comments. Our 3A Graphics sports calendar, the amazing Alan Blanco, custom printing and embroidery. Heat last night over the Raptors, 114-104. Miami's won 4 in a row. Butler, 11 points in 29 minutes. Bam with 21 points on 8 of 17 shooting. He also added 16 rebounds and 5 assists. Tyler Hero beefing up that trade value, 23 points and 4 rebounds Monday. They're in Detroit to take on the Pistons, 7 o'clock tip. The Panthers got their asses kicked last night by Vancouver, 4-0. Bob had 15 saves. Tomorrow they're in Calgary at 10 o'clock. Rams over the Niners. We were right on that one yesterday. Wise guy had the Niners. We went with the Rams on that one. Nope. Wise guy picked the Niners, and we disagreed with it and said, no. We're going Rams are playing better. So we went with – so if you went with me and Sean, because I know you agreed with me yesterday. I remember. Yeah, no, I know you agreed with me yesterday and everything. You were like, you even gave me a face like,
yeah,
that's weird. The Rams have been playing actually
good,
better.
And the 49ers are hurt.
I'm not, and they're hurt and all that. And so, had Debo dropping that ball yesterday. By the way, it's really 2 mediocre teams that we watched all night last night. Yeah. I know it was a close game and all that, but it's like watching Monday night. It was really 2 mediocre teams, but it ended up becoming an entertaining game, you know?
The weather helped.
Yeah, right.
Right. It ended up making them into, you saw, though, I thought you saw like coaches having to adjust and make adjustments. Not that they were great adjustments, but they both had to adjust to the conditions and the other team to, it was football. I liked it as far as I go.
Yeah, Purdy was not impressive. Stafford didn't light it up. It was that one drive, the 51-yarder to Puka. When he got that bomb, that's it. The bomb is what decided that game right there, because that had not been happening all game. And then finally, that Puka Nacua guy is bro. He's just a tough son of a bitch, bro. Yeah, hands, toughness, athletic.
He was
blocks,
blocking. I mean,
everything. He is so complete, dude. Like, how does he fall to the 5th round? You know? That's amazing, bro. Amazing. Good shit.
Because his speed probably, I'm guessing, I don't know what his 40 time was, but.
Yeah, but he finds a way to get open, So that's the way it goes. What else do we have? It hurts the most when you realize the OBJ money could have been used to sign AVG. Not really, because that's only 1 year. It's multi-years. So what are you going to do? It is what it is. That's a mistake. That's it. It's a mistake. I don't know why AVG is not here. I don't get it, but for whatever reason, Weaver probably thought he could overcome it or something. I don't know, man. I don't know. That one, that's a mistake, and you can't say anything else about it. I know that he was approaching 29. I know they were worried about the Liz Frank and if he could return to form. So I understand the trepidations behind it, but God, you don't teach people that have a knack for the football. It's just shit like that you can't teach. Like Oronde Gadsden, you can't teach it. You just can't teach the knack of making plays. And you're not like super athletic. Sometimes there are things Puka Nacua, you just cannot explain. Falls to the 5th round. He's big. He's physical. He's not necessarily the fastest guy in the world, but yet he can still get behind the defense. He will outmuscle everybody. He will play the game right in every facet of it. Just what are you going to do? He's just a good football player. Malik Washington isn't an outstanding athlete. Like, oh my God, like blow you. No, he's a solid athlete, but he's a great football player. So he's going to make plays. He's just a youngin' right now, but you can see it in the kid that he's got that toughness and that desire, that fire. Pat Fryermuth, watch him. Not necessarily the most gifted tight end in the world. Tough son of a bitch. Going to find the way to get open. Going to find a way to make a play. Throw it to him, and he's going to do his best to make a play. There are just some people that will overcome explanation, and you have to respect that. And AVG is that guy. AVG is not the most gifted linebacker in the world, okay? He doesn't have the physical traits of, what's the name of the guy at the Cowboys that flies around all over the place? He's a badass, the Penn State kid. I forgot now, but you know who I'm talking about. Yes, Micah Parsons. Thank you. So he doesn't have like the God-given abilities of a Micah Parsons, but AVG is going to just be around the football. And he has an instinct that's just something football players, when they have that instinct, my God, they're just so much more dangerous. It's great to be talented and gifted and all that kind of stuff, but then when you have that extra juice, that knack, like Russell Wilson, you just don't know, but it's just there he is again, and he's dropping dimes, and it just, there's a knack for it, and you can't explain it. Mac Hollins, can't explain it. Not necessarily the most gifted guy, but cojones like this, hands that are clutch, toughness that can't be denied, and a will that will not be denied. Certain guys.
It's not every case, but a lot of it is because a lot of them players have been told they wouldn't make it.
Yes.
So they almost take it on as a challenge. Like,
Sam Mills.
All right, you think I'm not going to make it?
All right.
This.
I'm
And
going
then
to
they end up using everything instead of just, no, they're not the fastest. No, they don't have the best hands. No, they can't jump the highest. But overall, the package ends up becoming
great football players.
Right.
Not a great talent, but a great football player. And those are the people that you can't have enough of those guys on your roster. You can't have enough Troy Browns on your roster. You can't have enough Bernie Parmalees on your roster. You can't have enough Jim Jensens on your roster. Can't have enough Oronde Gadsdens, Andrew Van Ginkels. There are certain guys that you must appreciate when you get them, and a Mac Hollins, and then you have to hang on to them. And they're not going to break your bank. They're not going to break your payroll. So keep them because they're foundational pieces. They are human beings that are leaders, winners, and they play with a fire and a desire that is infectious. And that's Andrew Van Ginkel. Yeah. So it's just like that, man. Can't do anything about it, but when you identify that person, Mac Hollins, don't let him go. Don't let him go. He's got a role on your team forever. Forever. He's never going to demand too much money. He's never going to demand to be the number one, but you're always going to want him on the field for you. So don't let people like that go. And Mac Hollins, AVG, those are two guys that have no business not wearing a Dolphins uniform. Yes, sir.
I wanted to ask you, did you watch any of the San Francisco game last night? Did you watch any of it?
Yeah.
Okay. No, because
that's what I was saying. It's kind of a lame game.
Yeah, no, but I turned it on in a part. I think it was somewhere in the third quarter, and it was when Dre Greenlaw was still on the field. He was returning from
when
injury.
they want him back,
and then they were like, why? I think think it was Herb Street was like, I guess they don't have him on a pitch count because they thought he wouldn't play as much as he did. You heard what happened, right?
Right, he got injured, and then they called for the guy and then he left.
Yeah, he walked out. He said, "I'm not playing. I don't want to play."
Because he already had a disagreement with them about playing, and they still wanted to play him, and he didn't want to play. And so there's more to this story, and obviously this guy
Greenlaw was the one that he replaced. That's who
he replaced.
Yeah,
right.
Because Greenlaw came back,
So he was pissed, like, yo, wait a minute. So now you need me, and so all that shit. But I don't know what's going on behind the scenes. I don't know if the guy's gotten railroaded or whatever.
I would say but you got players.
You got to play.
Not only that, but you got players speaking up against them as that's weak ass shit.
That's weak ass shit. It is.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and it's like, do your thing on the field, show that you belong on the field, then gripe.
Then take care of business off the field.
That just made you look like, if I'm any of the other 31 teams, I'm not going after
You're not signing a guy like that.
You just ruined your career almost.
Right. Yeah, he basically it's AWOL. It's equivalent to you being, somebody that in the military, AWOL. You know what I mean? It's the same thing. Now, there's more to this story, I'm sure, and maybe he's gotten screwed or whatever and all that, and we've all gotten screwed. But, bro, do your job. They need you. Go in there, do the job, and then when you go back in there and stick it to them by being great at it, and then when they need you, then down the line when negotiations come up and all that, that's when you stick your middle finger up. That's when you go somewhere else. That's when you do. That's how you do it. You got to have a plan B, but what you did there is what he did was we all have this person in our lives, our friend, our family member, or whatever. You're sitting there. Oh, yeah, no, dude, I quit my job today. I was so pissed. Oh, all right, cool. You got another job, right? Oh, no, I don't know. I got to go look for it. Like, whoa. Are you rich or something? That's a sin. Okay, that's when if you're a friend or a family member, yo. Hey, you're pissed off. You're going to quit tomorrow. No. Do you have a job yet? No. This is what you do. You go find another job and then you quit. That's all. Because you're a lot sexier trying to find a job with a job than trying to find a job without a job. Okay? I mean, you've explained that to somebody, right? I'm sure at one point or another. We've all explained that to somebody that's kind of a little lost, little young, little inexperienced. Listen, that's not how, okay, you're unhappy with them. You don't like working there. Totally understand that happens to all of us. This is what you need to do. On your off time now, go find a job. And then when you find a job, you say, hey, I got to give 2 weeks to my current job. You go, even if you hate these people, give them 2 weeks. Don't burn the bridge. They screwed up, whatever. Give them the 2 weeks. Get the hell out of there and get your new job. And you leave on the right. That's how you guide somebody, right? That's exactly what that guy did.
Talk about it Wednesday, but not to that extent. You're using something else, but driven with emotion. You're talking about fans on Wednesday, how they're driven by emotion. That's exactly what happened on another area of another aspect of it.
Exactly. Yes. Agree. Mattel Dulio, thank you for the love on the super chat. Very nice of you, sir. Thank you. He says Finns will never win a Super Bowl with Greer. Okay. They don't win a Super Bowl with Shula, with Jimmy, with Greer, with Ireland, with Saban, with Parcells, with Flo, with Gase, with Mueller, with whatever, dude. It doesn't matter. Right? What you see now hasn't changed for 40 years. Okay. Mac Hollins dissed by Dolphins twice, still participates in the DCC. The dude is just awesome on and off the field. Come on, Greer and company. Yeah, I that one. Well, but then again, I understand with this coach, he doesn't like tall receivers anyway. So NorCal, come on, we don't need a tall receiver on this team. We like Oompa Loompas. That's how we play the game. That's okay. Anyone know when Bradley Chubb returns? He might return this week. You never know. You never know. But either way, and I saw Omar Kelly's headline, and this is the kind of shit that I talked about. And I love Omar, but this is the kind of shit that I talked about that is complete horse shit. And that's where the media and fans need to kind of cool it down with the whole thing. And here we go. Let me read the headline. Let's see. Where is the headline? Let's see. Bradley Chubb's long road back awaits its finish line. Is that the one that I saw? No, I don't think so. Or maybe was it on Twitter that I saw for doing that? I think it might have been on Twitter, but man, he tweets a lot, so I don't know if I'll be able to find it. But in a way, it was like he was phrasing like they need Bradley Chubb's pass rush back badly, that kind of stuff. And that's not what you want. That's not what you want. You don't want anybody to be, you don't want to be thinking that, we need Bradley Chubb badly. We need his sacks. We need him to help out with pressure and all those kind of things. I just don't think that that's a productive way of looking at it. And we talked about it yesterday a little bit, that for me, I think what you want is for him to come back and just get acclimated to playing again and get comfortable with that knee. That's it for next year. I don't want him back. Oh my God, I need him back right now because we desperately need pass rush and shit like that. And I saw I'm kind of paraphrasing, but he put something like that yesterday. And I was like, yeah, that's not what you need. You don't need to start putting that out there, because then fans start saying the same thing. Oh no, we need Bradley Chubb to help out with the pass rush, and without him, we're lost, and all this kind of stuff. And I just think that that's counterproductive. I don't think it's a good thing to say that. I don't think it's a good thing for any of us to want to be expecting or needing Bradley has to return to form right now. No, just get comfortable, get confident with the knee, and then the rest will take care of itself. Jeff in Long Island, we need to get Mostert back involved in the offense. I talked about it earlier, what's really going on with the offense and the running game. It's really the Austin Jackson absence has really killed that running game. It's crazy, but it's really affected him. I've been working since I was 15. Grandfather would take me to help me with his concrete truck. 16, he bought me a concrete pump. We wake up at 4 every morning. I hate men who are lazy or jobless. Luis Dominguez says, Big O, bunch of Finns fans here in Houston representing. Hopefully the team rewards us with a W. Well, you guys certainly deserve it. They don't deserve you. The Dolphins don't deserve the fan base, but you guys deserve the world. Okay. Ryan says, I refrain my hate for Saban. I mean, recently somewhere that part of the reason he left was because he had no control over the Ricky Williams situation. No, he had control over everything in quarterback too. He's full of shit. What Nick Saban is constantly is a liar. Soldier of God says, Buenos dias, mi hermano. Muchos saludos, Big O. It's 9 degrees in cold Illinois, And it feels like temperature is -4. God, I miss Miami Beach. I took for granted living all my life in paradise. Bro, and to think I eventually will be moving farther south, not north, because I cannot afford to live here long term. I'm a working stiff, and Florida is becoming way too expensive for people like me. So property taxes, homeowners insurance, all that kind of stuff. It's getting completely out of control. So instead of maybe going to maybe a cheaper state like Mississippi or something, no, that would be north. I am going to go south. I'm going to go closer to the equator. So I'm going to end up moving out of this country because I can't afford to live in Florida. I've been talking about this for a while. So been talking about it for like 2 years. So it's just like one of those things. It's just gotten out of control. So you may have moved for work or whatever purposes. I may move for financial purposes, but I'm going to go south. Probably in the Panama, Costa Rica area. Much more affordable than here. Let's see. Very few left tackles are going to want to deal with a Bradley Chubb peaking. John Padilla says, crazy day working in the rain, but checking in from Southern California. Oh, San Francisco, California. All right. Chubb returning is like finances, thinking long-term wins in the end. Okay. They go, a letter grade of the Dolphins season is a G-. Complete waste of a season. It has been. And talent and window. Like the window for these players is one more year, and then some real shit hits the fan. That's the worst part, is that Mike McDaniel ruined this window. Us natives of South Florida are slowly being pushed out. Yeah, unless you have money, Ray. Unless you make good money. But if you're working stiffs like me and Sean, Florida's getting really expensive for us to live in, man. So I know Sean has oil and he has all kinds of other things that, on the side. So he's not struggling, he's got oodles of cash all over the place.
But they took my main guy that was buying my oil.
You're hurting now. Okay, I see. So yeah. But yeah, it's pricing some of us out, man. Unfortunately. What are we gonna do? So Big O, hopefully one day on this YouTube channel we can have chief problems of repeating. I don't know what that means. I just had a relapse, just crept up on me. It stinks in this truck. Thanks, Ron DeSatan. It's not just, it's everybody, bro. It's both sides. I'm not the guy that picks on only the left or only on the right or whatever. They're all a disaster. They all add to it. Well, the last 4 presidents have printed like crazy, and now this one is going to repeat. He'll do the same. They're all the same, dude. It's just, I don't really care about either side. But DeSantis has not helped lately. There's no doubt about that. He hasn't helped. That's for sure. He's made it worse. But yeah, it's just us regular working stiffs. It's hard to stay in this state. This state is becoming like those of you in California, you know what we're dealing with. Those of you in New York, you know what we're dealing with because you've been dealing with it before we were. Those states are expensive. And we're like that too now. And it's just pricing a lot of us out. It's sad, but it is what it is. All right, Sean Stanley, thank you, sir. We thank the great Larry Schlossberg and Pat Nasto, Tony Stampone, all the amazing people, and Mr. Zinn, of course, as a proud sponsor of our show. And we thank him. As always, we thank all of you out there. If you made a donation, Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That's Cash Big O Show. Cash App or Venmo, and you can make a Bitcoin donation, and we thank you for that. If you made a Bitcoin donation or Ethereum donation, You can also make a PayPal donation too. If you made it, thank you, thank you, thank you. We shall see you on Monday morning for the sports show. We will be doing a Crypto Bro show down the line, so stay tuned for that. Always hit the the subscription bell. That way you know, the notification bell. That way you know when we go live. And we'll see you on Sunday, actually. That's right. We'll see you Sunday morning at 11 a.m. as we get you ready for the Dolphins and the Texans. Be good out there.
There's just one place to get our lowest payment on the new 2024 Acura ZDX, $299 a month. It's the Season of Performance event at Acura of Pembroke Pines, #1 in the USA.